Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again. Okay, you guys, today we need to talk about your girl Big H, honey. Okay, I was like, you know what, I'm kind of tired of Big H and her games because she's annoying people around the world. She is annoying. Okay, so I was like, I'm done with you for a little bit. Big H is not letting me breathe. Okay, I'm busy. Moved into our new house. There's so much decorating to do. I have tons of work to do at work, but Big H is not letting me breathe. Okay, because she's got a lot going on. So we have a lot to get through today. We're going to talk about the new colors. We're going to talk about the annual report. We're going to talk about this thing that I'm calling Big H influencer privilege. We're going to talk about that at the end. And then some of you did my sticker. It was like a general luxury Q&A thing. And there are a few of your comments I want to kind of respond to. Some of the things some of you have said that I felt like I've responded, but I feel like might be worth me mentioning it again. So let's start off with their colors. So they've got new colors for spring summer 2022. These actually leaked a while ago, but I wanted to wait for other Big H accounts to post them first because I don't want to get in trouble with the stallion, honey. So lots of other accounts have posted them, so I wanted to tell you about them now. So yeah, these are the colors. There's blue Hydra. This looks like a really vibrant, like electric blue. There's, if I can find pictures, I'll post them on the screen. If I can't, I'm sorry. Because these colors are new, so people are starting to get them offered now in like SLGs and bags. There's blue royal, so obviously that would be, you know, royal blue, which, yeah, is in the name, it's a royal blue. There's cassis, this is a beautiful color. This looks like a really beautiful, like purple blackberry color. It's very, very pretty. There's vert absinthe, which is really pretty. So obviously absinthe, you know, is like a really famous drink. It's a pretty color. There's chai. There's also green Maya. I think those colors are absolutely beautiful. I think there's also this color here called Aqua as well. I think that one is also new. I'm just seeing here on Passport. She also posted Aqua. I was looking at a few other places. So I think I've told you, yeah, pretty much all of them. Those are the new colors. So what do we think about these new colors? Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to someone in our group. She knows who she is. She actually got offered a product in the color chai. So all of us who are members of the group, we have already seen what chai looks like from someone who actually got something offered. She knows who she is. I'm so grateful that you shared that picture with us. Chai looks like and she was gracious enough to do a comparison as well so we could get an idea. Chai looks like it looks much colder than some of their warmer neutrals, because I think in the picture one of the group members had compared it with like a biscuit. Chai looks much warmer than some of their other neutrals. For example, no, not warmer, sorry, colder. You know, like you have like gold. Gold looks really like gold to me is a very warm like brown, you know. And then you have like sesame as well, whereas chai to me has like a colder tone to it. It's a very interesting color. It's going to be massive in my opinion for spring summer, because I think people really have been looking for those, like people are looking for different types of neutrals now as well. And I think that if you get offered something in chai but you were looking for gold, I would take the chai offer, because I think that it's a really nice neutral. Gold has a lot of warmth in it, but chai with like rose gold hardware or, you know, gold hardware, whatever, that one's going to look really good. So I think the color to watch from these colors is definitely going to be chai. I think chai is going to be a massive color. I think people see, and even online, if you like read everything that's popping with Big H, people have really been talking about chai. That's the color that people have been talking about. Cassis looks really good to me. You know, I don't like blue, so I'm not really checking for those ones. I like the look of chai. I like the look of cassis. I think that one looks really, really good. That's going to look amazing in exotic, specifically, because the jewel tones in that color are going to lend themselves to croc leather and things like that. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think of the Big H colors. And now I want to move on and talk to you about their results. Some of you asked me, you know, are you going to be talking about the results? I'm like, yes, I am. I just wanted to wait for the right video where I could talk about them. Now, let's talk about just the general thing. Yes, you know, Big H's results, you know, it's their time to talk about themselves and how amazing they are, and everything they do is amazing. They're so amazing. So we're not going to talk about how amazing they are. You can go read that, like how much they made. We all know how much they made because they're doing really, really well. Now, what we are going to talk about, what I prefer to talk about, is reading between the lines of these reports. Read between the lines. I read their press releases and their random reports, and I've been reading them for months and months and months. I don't report on all of them, but I read them to know what's popping. Ages ago, I told you, many of you, in my videos, and I would allude to the fact that I didn't believe the things that a lot of your essays were telling you, that guys, there's no stock and all of this and this. We're not talking about C19. C19 was ages ago, okay? C19 happened in literally around the time of like the beginning of 2020s when we started to see the effects of C19. We're in 2022 now, so please don't bring up C19. If you read their releases and you keep up to date with that stuff, they have literally been posting on their investor section. You're not going to hear this from your essays, honey, okay? This is just on the investor section. That they have been opening boutiques all around the world, that they have these new production sites. So that has been in the offing for some time. In the annual report, they were just repeating what they've been saying for ages, which I was relaying, and some of you were being stubborn and fighting me. And I was telling you that you guys, yes, there are global logistics issues, that's true, but broadly speaking, the bags are available and the bags are there. It's just that Big H have their own algorithms to decide the way the bags are allocated. And that's just something that I believe, and I believe that this is for all bags. I do definitely think that the US, for example, was like sacrificed in a way so that they could have bags for their home turf, which is obviously France, and for the the really, really massively popular Asian markets. I think that did happen around like Christmas time. But this idea that like, oh yeah, there are no bags because they're not really making bags right now, that is just a load of, well, you know what now, because I can't swear on YouTube, okay? But the bags are being made, you guys. And don't fight me now. You heard it from the horse's mouth herself, sweetheart. I had to do it. I had to. It was too much. They have lots of production sites that are going up. So they were talking about that in the report. They said how they have all these production sites. They have like new artisans they're going to be training and all of this. They have like a new school that they're making as well for their artisans. So you can go read all that stuff. Honestly, that artisan stuff is cool and everything, but I don't really follow that stuff. I don't actually really care about that stuff for Big H, and I'm going to tell you why I like Big H later. And it's not really for that, believe it or not. Okay, so what does this mean? If production is actually fine and they can produce and not produce as much as they want, like what is actually going on? I believe that Big H have their own like internal algorithms where they can decide how many Evelyns to make, how many Picotans to make, how many mini Rudies to make. Like they know, and how many quota bags to make. They know exactly like how much to make, like on a global scale. Yes, I wouldn't say that they I wouldn't say that they like can meet the demand right now, because obviously there are just so many people. But generally speaking, I think that if H wanted to meet the demand for these products, I think they can if they want to. I think they're being clever about not meeting the demand, because then that feeds the demand for future sales and for future orders. If they met the demand particularly for the 3 quota bags, they wouldn't be as in demand because everyone would have them. That's the whole point of why they're so hot. Not everyone can get them. So there's something that they said here in the report. This is where really I want to focus my energy for this video. They mentioned the Della and the 2424 by name. They said how new bags like the Della are doing well, bags like the 2424 are doing really well. And then they said something where they said the demand for, quote, Hermes Classics is being sustained. I was thinking about this whole idea of the way how they said in the annual report that demand for Hermes Classics is being sustained. That's literally the word that they use. They call them Hermes Classics. Let's all just stop the, babe in the woods routine here, you guys. We all know what the Hermes Classics are. We know exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about our 3 musketeers, okay? I don't even need to say their names, honey. They're talking about the 3 musketeers. So the question here is, like, if the demand for them is sustained, they never even mention them by name. They always have like a gangster name for them, okay? So in this annual report, they've called them the Hermes Classics. We know what they're referring to, the Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance. I believe that Big H always signals things in their annual reports. Okay, I think they tell us things, and I think it's for us to be paying attention. What they're saying is this: people, they want you to buy the Della because it's a new bag, so they want you to show loyalty. That's why they name drop the Della in here, honey, okay? And while they know many clients are not necessarily going to be reading the annual report because it's a financial document that's meant for like financial analysts, they want people to buy that bag. I personally do not like that bag, but I know that many of you who do like that bag. I think that bag is the most equestrian bag out of all of their bags. I know many of you said the Picotin is like, it's meant to look like a bag that is similar to the bag that a horse is fed in or something. I think the Della really has the strongest like equestrian vibe and equestrian look out of all of their bags. Now, the 2424 being mentioned by name in the annual report, that was like the biggest shock to me, and that was really, really surprising. So I wanted to kind of figure out like, why would they mention the 2424 by name? That's not really a popular bag. No one's really checking for that bag, like in the Big H community, in groups, Instagram forums, like no one's really talking about that bag. And it kind of connects with stuff that's been going on with that bag. A few of you have reached out to me and told me they've actually been offered this bag, particularly the Mini 2424. I've heard from a bunch of you. You've told me you get it as an offer, and sometimes if they want to offer you the 2424, whether it's the Mini 2424 or the 2424 itself, they'll take you to like the private room and they'll show you the bag as an offer. So the 2424, don't be surprised if, particularly after this annual report, don't be surprised if it's no longer a bag that you can just purchase off the shelf. The off-the-shelf bags at this point, I feel like are like the Cinetic, the Veru, the Gypsia, the Cabas, the Trim. The 2424 being mentioned by name is kind of a sign that it requires some sort of spend now, because if they even went to the point to even mention it in this annual report, which by the way is an official financial document, like you cannot cap in this document, honey, like you need to come with the facts, okay? That kind of means that they, in my opinion, just speculating, they have a plan for this bag, and a plan that maybe we can't really see yet. But I have been telling many of you for ages, and you guys, some of you have been so stubborn on this, and I literally back up my theories with things from reports, and you guys are still fighting me on this. I did say that I felt like the Picotin and the Evelyn are basically quota bags in all but name. They don't affect your quota, they don't affect you getting a Birkin, a Kelly, or a Constance, but they require spend. They're very hard to get, particularly in those really like hard to get colors, like a gold Picotin, a black one, or one in gray or something. Like they're actually becoming really, really hard to get, and they're no longer walk-in bags. Like an Evelyn is, Evelyn, I mean, when's the last time anyone has walked in and in a competitive store? Don't be like, oh, I walked in and got a boutique in a Big H boutique where there's like one person that comes a week. Let me stop you right there, boo-boo, okay? When's the last time any of you who live in London or New York or, you know, or Shanghai or Singapore, when's the last time you walked into any of those boutiques and bought an Evelyn with zero spend? Meaning, and don't be like, oh, I got one the other day, and then I ask you, like, did you buy something from Big H last week? Yeah, I did. That doesn't count. I mean, someone with no purchase history. It's not really happening that way. A few years ago, you could walk in and get the Evelyn and the Picotin with no spend at all, but now they require spend. They're wait lists for both those bags. They're very difficult to get now, and I think that's by design. They want all of their bags to be difficult to get. That's why they're name dropping other bags that aren't the Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance. That is why they're talking about the Della in this report. That is why they're talking about the 2424. They want all of their bags, in my opinion, to be under some sort of quota gate that requires some sort of spend. It doesn't mean that if you buy a Picotin or an Evelyn that it's going to affect you getting a Birkin. It'll probably help because maybe they think you're loyal to the brand and you're not just chasing after those 3 bags. But I think that they are now working on something. And when I saw this in the annual report, it was a very short little sentence. If you skimmed the annual report, you would have missed the shout outs to the Della and the 2424 and the reference to the Hermes Classics. Listen, I want Big H to make a rap album, okay? I want them to make a rap album right now because they're calling them Hermes Classics. That's it. That's what they should name that album, okay? The way they reference the quota bags, it's obvious they're talking about the quota bags, you guys. I don't have time, okay, to fight about this, okay, with you guys in the comments. So please, we all know what time it is. Okay, the Burke and the Kelly and the Constance, they're classics of the brand. They've been around for ages. We know what time it is. Okay, so what do we think of the 2424 specifically being mentioned by name in the annual report? All of a sudden, the 2424 right now, she's looking like, she's looking like Beyonce right now. She's looking at all of us like, you guys, you know, we're always talking about me. You guys are saying I was in that B word. Now look. Okay, and I was mentioned in the annual report. I think it's a big deal that they mentioned the 2424 by name. I think we're going to see the effects of the 2424's relevance at the house over the next few weeks and months. But I want some of you to try something out for me, okay? And only do this if you have purchase history at the brand. If you have purchase history at the house, next time you go into Big H, ask them if they have any 2424s. You just want to know if they're there. Okay, I want to know if those bags are still available on the shelf. But from what I've been hearing from a lot of you, the 2424 is now one of those bags that is a bag that is offered to clients. It is no longer a walk-in bag. I'm pretty sure if you walk into any Big H boutique today and you say you want to purchase a Cinetic, they will sell it to you without any spend. But the 2424, the Picotin, the Evelyn, you know, maybe even the Della to a certain degree, even though it's a new bag, you know, maybe even the Della will require a little bit of spend. All of these bags are now kind of morphing into little mini quota bags. They don't affect your ability to get the 3 top dogs, the 3 musketeers, but they are kind of turning into their own little versions of quota bags. I'm going to talk to you guys about my thoughts on the Evelyn and the Picotin later in more detail, because I wanted to respond to some comments that I always get about those 2 bags later on. So those are the major themes of the annual report. They also talked about how watches is like plus 73%. Like the growth in watches is completely crazy. So that tells you, you know, people are buying watches desperately trying to score bags. So people are buying their bait. They talked about how ready-to-wear is doing really well. Translation, people are buying bait and we're happy about it. They talked about perfumes as well. Yeah, I mean, just in general, everything is popping over there, but watches being plus 73%, like over a year or 2 years or whatever the number is that they said, that's a big deal. That means that people are really buying Big H bait and people really want to score quota bags, and so are willing to purchase whatever Big H says in order to score those bags. So I thought that was very, very, very interesting. The general summary of the annual report is as follows. And I hope no one's offended, and I hope if you're a Big H essay, please don't be offended either. But whatever your Big H essay tells you is not necessarily what is going on at the brand. If you like care about the ins and outs of this house, just go read the investor section. Some of it is painfully boring stuff, like super boring. But every now and then they'll post like an interesting press release of something they're doing. If you remember, many moons ago, I was telling you guys, these people are opening boutiques everywhere in the world, but Africa. Okay, I was making a little joke about it, kind of whinging about it, but it really shows you, would you be opening all of these stores if you didn't have bags? Some of you are like, oh, they don't have bags right now. They have bags. Let me stop you right there. The way that the bags are being distributed on a global scale is another thing. They are distributing bags to places where they think they can make the most money. That's the bottom line. If you are in a location that isn't really competitive, that maybe doesn't have like that much foot traffic, they're not really going to be bringing their most coveted, hottest bags to that particular location. But those locations where there's a lot of foot traffic and a lot of things are popping, that is where the bags are going to be going. So if you find this business stuff really interesting, like I said, just go onto their finance section of their website, and you can read it. They have lots of like press releases, things they're doing. Like I said, some of it is like painfully boring, but every now and then they'll post a really interesting press release of something they're doing, and it ties into the quota games and the shenanigans that you guys you know, find interesting, that I find really interesting. Listen, I'm telling you right now, okay, the 2424 right now, she's got her high heels on, okay, and she's like, I'm that girl right now, so put respect on my name. To be honest with you, I've never really checked for this bag. Now, after reading about it in the annual report, I'm like, okay, I need to be a little bit nicer to this bag right now, because this bag got mentioned by name by management at Big H, so obviously the bag is important. It's going to be requiring spend. Anything mentioned by name in their annual reports, like you should be worried. That means that that thing, whatever it is, will be requiring some sort of spend. I know now I'm going to get people in the comments saying, I walked in and I got a 2024 yesterday. Yes, you can still walk in and get a cold. But a lot of you have told me that you have noticed that the bag is now being offered in like a private room. Not all of the bags are offered like that. It's mainly just, you know, the really like hot quota bags, and then there'll be non-quota bags that are very desirable that are offered like that. But it's interesting to me that all of a sudden the 2424 is now a bag that requires like being offered. It's no longer a walk-in bag. And like I said, a few years ago, you could just walk in and ask for that bag. Like, hello, I'd like to buy a 2424. They'll give it to you, you know, without spend. But now, you know, the tables have turned and things have become very different. So I'd love to know what you think about that. If you like these videos, you know what to do. Subscribe to my channel, hit notifications. We have lots more that we need to talk about. I think if you really like Big H, you'll like the group. The group is a general luxury group. It's linked below. Go join it. But I think you'll enjoy it. If you like it, it's a little bit more unfiltered. I feel like I'm much more filtered on here because I don't want to unlist my videos. So I don't want to say anything too crazy. But yeah, go join the group. I think you'll really like it. Okay, so now I want to talk to you guys about something that I am calling, just put my laptop down for a second, something that I am calling Big H influencer privilege, okay? I have talked to some of you guys. You might say I've whinged about it. You could say I've boned about it. You could say I just gave a critical comment. I've talked to some of you guys before privately on my channel as well, because I have no fear. I will be upfront and say things that I feel, and I'm not going to backtrack. I have said before that I feel like there are influencers who are not being forthcoming about spend and spending ratios, and I have said that. Some of you send me videos of influencers who are getting offers, and I'm just like, look girl, don't send me those videos because I don't care, because influencers are not being completely forthcoming about what they spend. Some are forthcoming, some are not. I haven't seen or heard of an influencer being forthcoming about Big H spend in ages, up until a few days ago when Mel in Melbourne posted her Hawaii Big H haul. So obviously all of you know who she is, and to be honest, I actually just really like her luxury unboxings. I don't, like I said before, I don't watch anyone's family vlogs, so I don't watch her vlogs, but I do watch her luxury unboxings. So obviously she went to Hawaii, and she had promised that she had a Big H haul, so most of us were waiting for that, so she uploaded that, and it was a very memorable haul. If you've watched the video, you know what time it is. If you haven't watched the video, just go search up her channel, go watch it. She scored, I'm gonna spoil it now, but let me just say what she got because I have to mention it. She scored a mini Kelly in ostrich in Nata. Now, what I liked about this haul is that she was transparent about what she spent. She showed everything that she purchased, and at the end of the day, we all know how Big H works. You know, your spend in other categories supports the quota offers, okay? Now, if you watch that haul, I think she got the Constant Slim wallet, she bought some shoes, she bought some scarves, and she also purchased a really pricey watch. Now, I was doing the kind of basic calculations of her haul, excluding the mini Kelly in ostrich and Nata, which I believe she said was like $14,300 US. If we exclude that, she went just over 2 to 1 to get that offer. I appreciate that she showed what she purchased and then showed the mini Kelly at the end, because we're all adults here. We know what she's trying to tell us. She's communicating to us that she did buy other things in order to get the offer. Now, to be fair, and it's worth mentioning, this is Hawaii. Hawaii is very competitive. I think that there was this idea before that anyone could just walk into Hawaii. Again, a few years ago, you could ask for a bag. If you went, you know, 0.5 to 1, they'll probably offer you something. Those days are long gone. Hawaii is very, very hard to score in, and it's worth noting that her essay at that boutique where she scored the mini Kelly in ostrich is the same essay who I believe offered her, I think, a mini Kelly as well. Previously, I think he's the same essay that offered her a mini Kelly. So she does actually have an essay in Hawaii that she works with, and she did basically go like 2 to 1 in exotic pricing. Don't forget that the ostrich mini Kelly, she said, was $14,300 US. So she, in my estimation, based off everything that she purchased, she basically went 2 to 1 in exotic pricing. It's not like she went. It's not like she was. It's not like she was doing it based on Epsom or Chevra or something like that. She did go 2 to 1 in exotic pricing, and then, you know, obviously she got that offer. Now, I think it's worth noting that, yeah, she does have an essay there. So I know they're going to be, you know, we were talking about it in the group and stuff. I was saluting her in the group because I'm just really happy that there's a big luxury influencer who was transparent about what she spent. One of my gripes with the luxury YouTube and luxury influencing community is people not being transparent about what they spend. I always say on this channel, state your longitude and latitude, and that is glamazonism for meaning, tell us where you were when you got your offer. Tell us what you purchased with your offer. Even if you went into the store and you were given a bag and you didn't buy anything that day, did you buy anything 3 to 4 to 6 months previous? If you did, that supported the offer, okay? And tell us the spec of your bag, the color, okay? Now, one of the most interesting things to me about her haul was the fact that she went 2-to-1 in exotic pricing. Exotics at Big H are really interesting to me. Generally speaking, technically, it should be easier to score an exotic than it should be to get the standard leathers because, first of all, the price point. Second of all, they're just such a niche product. They're just not everyone's cup of tea. Many people don't like them. Many people do like them, but it is what it is. However, I've noticed something. Exotics are not that easy anymore to score. I've been paying attention to the purse forum. I've been reading people's exotic score stories in Facebook groups. I would say over the past 6-7 months, there's been a shift, a quiet shift. They're not that easy to get. You will even need to go 1-to-1, even in croc pricing, maybe even 0.5-to-1 in croc pricing. You still need to do that. So like bags like the Mini Kelly, that's a very desirable bag in whichever leather it comes in, Epsom, Chevre, Ostrich, and croc. I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to get a croc Mini Kelly, you'd have to go 1-to-1 in croc pricing. By the way, a nylon croc Mini Kelly is 21,000 euros. I feel like it's the same for the Kelly Bichette because those are still very desirable bags and people really do like them. Now the larger bags like the Kelly, maybe a Kelly 25 in alligator or croc, or like a Kelly 28 in nylon croc or alligator, or a Birkin 30 in croc. I think a Birkin 30 in croc, one of the group members told me was like 43,000 euros in the EU. I mean, I still feel like there'll be some sort of spend. Maybe they won't require you to go completely 1-to-1 in like Birkin 30 croc pricing, but at the moment, because the way bags are being distributed, bags are being released to clients right now, but it's definitely not like rammed with bags in every single boutique. Some of you have told me like some stores don't have anything in there, and some stores do, but a lot of stores are empty and don't have anything. All of a sudden now, the exotics now become even more desirable because there's kind of like, there's a perceived shortage of the standard leather bags, right? So the exotic pieces for the people who can afford, and maybe someone might be like, okay, well, let me just go and buy that one. Maybe let me just go buy this full croc bag because I'm struggling right now to get something in Clemence or Togo. Now, obviously at that pricing, you have to be someone who you're okay with spending that money. Not everyone's going to be okay with that. And that's why Big H do have like the Birkin Touch and the Kelly Touch and things like that. So the point I'm making is, because I feel like someone's going to be like, okay, but they offered it to her because it was ostrich. I don't think so, because I think the Mini Kelly is the most desirable handbag in fashion at the moment. End of. You get me? And I think it's desirable and holds its value in every single leather, hide, and finish that it's made in. So I think it was a phenomenal offer. I'm really happy for her. I was thrilled to see an exotic like Hermes unboxing as well. Those are very rare, so I was really happy to see that. I'm very happy for her, and I appreciate and salute her honesty. There are very few luxury channels that are transparent about spend. She is one of them, so salute to her. I want to, because I know you guys are like, oh, you're tough on luxury YouTubers. Well, let me say something really positive about one luxury YouTuber. I appreciated her honesty, because now people see 100% that you have to go and spend money. No one is walking into any boutique and being offered a Mini Kelly without spend. It is not going to happen. If it does, you need to record yourself, send it to me, and I'll upload it onto YouTube. Okay, because you have to be transparent about spend. So let's talk about influencer privilege at Big H. Is there privilege for influencers at Big H? Yes. By the way, these are not real problems. These don't start talking about real privilege in a political and social cultural context. Yes, I'm aware of that. Trust me, as a person of God, I am. We're just talking about luxury privilege here. I think that there is influencer privilege. I think influencers are given more leeway. I can think of one influencer in particular who got a really cool special order in a very competitive city that is known for big H boutiques that are very competitive. Even I was like, wow, that's really interesting that she'll be given a special order like that, and she hasn't bought any bait, and she hasn't shown her bait. I do think that there are some essays who recognize people from Instagram and YouTube, and for whatever reason, if the essay likes the influencer for whatever reason, the essay might just feel like, okay, you know what, I'm going to go and mention this influencer's name to the store manager, and I'm going to kind of fight for them more than I would fight for a normal client because they're an influencer, because they have 100,000 followers on Instagram or YouTube, or because they have 500,000 followers on Instagram. I think there are situations like that, and I think you can always tell when it's a situation when the essay liked the person, because when you listen to the story from the influencer and you look at their followers and how many followers they have, it's highly likely that the essay maybe knows that person or has recognized them and has just decided that they want to sell them a bag. There's some of you, told me like, well, how come this influencer shops in my boutique and, I haven't got an offer and I'm spending like a lot on bait, and it seems like this person hasn't shown anything. Either the essay really likes them and they really didn't buy any bait and the essay likes them, or they are buying bait, they're just not showing it because they want to create a look that they're special and they're more special than all of us because they don't have to buy any pre-spend items. And by the way, don't be annoyed when I call it bait. Some of you get annoyed with that. Don't be annoyed. It just makes things nice and light and fun on this channel, because if you take Big H too seriously, you'll be crying about it, and I'm not going to cry about it. So we're just going to laugh at it and have a good laugh. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so I think that is like, there's definitely a sort of influencer privilege when it pertains to Big H, definitely. I'm not talking about influencers with millions of followers. We're not talking about the Kiaras and people like that. Kiara Ferragni, Brian Boyd. I feel like that's very different. To me, they're like celebrities, basically. They're like fashion celebrities. That's totally different. I'm talking about people with under 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe under 700,000 Instagram followers, but I'm focused more on YouTube. Let's focus more on that. I'm talking about people with under 500,000 YouTube subscribers. Did I say 500 or 500,000? Under 500,000 YouTube subscribers. I do think that there are some essays who recognize people from YouTube, and for whatever reason, maybe they like that person, they think that person's cool, they think that person has swag, and they've decided that they want to offer that person a Birkin or a Kelly or a Constance without any spend. But if it's you or me, there'll be games, we'll have to buy a watch, we'll need to buy, a saddle, we need to buy furniture, Big H have sofas for 100,000 euros. If I buy a 100,000 euro sofa, I want multiple bags with a Z, okay? So when we think of like Big H influencer privilege, how does this affect us and how should we be affected by it? First of all, let me be clear where I stand. I don't really follow any influencers who shop from Big H, and this is by design. The reason why I don't is because unless I feel like the person is transparent about spend, I'm not going to be taking part, supporting someone's page who I don't feel like is being completely transparent. To be honest with you, I think Mel in Melbourne has set a great blueprint of how you can be transparent about spend, but not even say how much you spend. Because if you watch the haul, she was, gracious enough to say how much everything was. She said, she bought these scarves, she bought this, she bought that. Then she showed the mini Kelly at the end. You knew exactly how much everything cost in that haul if you watched it from start to finish. So you can you always exclude the price of the mini Kelly, by the way, because the mini Kelly is, the offer rate, right? So you can then kind of total up how much she spent, and then you can figure out the spending ratio. And like I said, it's just over 2 to 1, like a hair over 2 to 1, basically, give or take. That's how much she spent for the offer. And I just appreciate that, and I just think that's really cool, and I'm really glad because she has a lot of influence, particularly in the Big H community. I know I know that people are going to go buy watches now. So we're probably going to need to buy other types of fine jewelry because Mel's going to have everyone buying watches. But like I said, I just appreciate the honesty. There are a lot of people in the Big H world who are not transparent about bait that they're buying and about spend. People are misleading in many ways. Like we've talked about this before. Someone will be like, I bought 5 bags this year, but your boyfriend bought 3. But 3 were on your man's profile. If they're on your man's profile, just say it's on my man's profile. Do you know what I mean? Like, Why do people not say this? And you can always tell because the provenance, like the origin story or the provenance story of how that item was acquired, it's like always kind of murky. It never makes sense. You know, we did reference Lydia. And I referenced Lydia, beg your pardon, in one of my previous videos, and I said, you know, I like Lydia, but you know, she did have a mini Kelly. She has a mini Kelly, I beg your pardon, but she wouldn't say, you know, if it was a store offer or not. And we had a really interesting discussion about that. We were split in the middle. Some of you said you didn't feel like she owed it to anyone to explain that it was a store offer or not. Some of you kind of agreed with me. I felt like it would have just been nice and transparent to say, you know, this was a store offer, or I got this at resale. And then one of you graciously told me in the comments that you actually watch a lot of her vlogs, and actually eventually she does actually say in a vlog that she didn't get it at resale. Now eventually, okay, I just prefer the people who are completely upfront. I don't, like I said, I don't watch every single Mel and Melbourne does, to be honest. I only really watch her unboxings, so you know, it's really just that. I don't really watch like family vlogs. I don't want to watch anyone's family vlogs. I don't know why, they just bore me to tears. I don't want to watch that. I'm never gonna have, like, if I have kids, I'm not gonna have them on camera. Like I'm just not interested in that. But she's the queen of luxury unboxings and hauls, honey, okay? And she did that, and I was very impressed. And it was really exciting to see like an ostrich like unboxing. I have to say, I've watched other exotic unboxings, ostrich, and people always get tons of hate comments. And on her page, like, she wasn't getting any hate. So it's nice to see someone with a lot of pull and a lot of clout in the community unbox an exotic piece, because that will make other people who like exotics not feel ashamed or feel afraid of being dragged or whatever. So salute to her. I would love to know if you guys think like there's like luxury influencer privilege at these brands, and specifically Big H. I definitely feel like there's influencer privilege, and that's why I always tell you guys, you cannot compare yourself to an influencer. And guys, don't compare me either. Like when I go back to Paris, like this summer, some of you were like showing me what influencers have scored when I was there. Who cares? I am not an influencer. You cannot compare me to an influencer whose job it is to score. I can like go to Paris and like not score, and it's not going to affect my channel. I'm still going to be me, still doing my thing, you get me? But when I go back this summer, like I would actually rather compare myself to one of you. If we have like a similar lifestyle, and we have similar tastes, and you score and I don't, I'd be more fixated on that, as opposed to if an influencer is offered tons of bags. That's why I always tell you, don't worry about influencers. A lot of you are balling so hard. A lot of you have more money than these people. A lot of you are balling so hard. So don't worry about them. Focus on your off. I know it's hard seeing someone get like a special order and they haven't spent any money on bait, but it is what it is. Big H have their own rules about influencers. Influencers treat it differently. And it is what it is, you know. We don't need to name drop people in the comments. I don't have anything against people or anything like that. And I, you know, have just said, you know, nice things about Mel. I just want people to be transparent. I think if you're transparent, salute. I'm happy for you. I think it helps people in the community, because now after people saw her haul, people know you are not walking into any boutique in the world and asking for a mini Kelly, even an exotic one, and getting it off the shelf without spend. It's not going to happen. Okay, and like I said, you know, she already had her own situation there, because she had her own essay, and obviously her essay, you know, he's the one, you know, who, you know, made it happen for her. If she hadn't had her essay, would it have happened? I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's hard to tell. If she didn't have him, like, would she have got that really great offer? I feel like she probably would have, because so much of it is about spend. But I don't know if it would have been as an incredible offer as that. I mean, Nata's a really hot color. I think we're also discussing this in the group. Like, we were discussing this in the group. Like, you know, should you just go resell or go one-to-one? I feel like for those really coveted pieces, I feel like going resell, to me, you might as well just go one-to-one in the boutique in a situation like that if you can. Okay. So now I wanted to answer some questions that I said on Instagram, my Instagram sticker. I want to answer some questions, I beg your pardon. The question that I had for you guys was, do you think social media makes people overspend on luxury? Yes or no? So that was my question. Amaya said, yes, it does. I agree. Deborah says, yes, because most people are on social media so much that if you see it enough, it will increase interest. Agreed. We're on social media way too much. I totally agree. Melinda says, yes, if I don't see it, I don't even know I want it. Facts, because if you don't see it, you don't know it exists. Fit Foodie Teach says, yes, if you have no willpower and have fear of missing out. Facts. Holly says this is a common occurrence due to social media, keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. All of these things are facts. I just want to read them out and then I'll react. Curator Treasure says, yes and no. Pandemic shutdowns help, but it's important to check yourself. And then she also says, do not fall down the social media rabbit hole. Also, when you see things in person, they're not so great. KK Love CC says 100%. Leslie says, yes, I believe people get a bad case of fear of missing out because they're just regular people like themselves. Camera died, so I had to go and charge my camera again. Let me turn off the sound on my laptop as well. Sorry about that. So let me keep going with you guys who answered my sticker about luxury culture and social media. Like, does that make us spend more? Mela Loves Lux says, only if they desperately need to fit in with the crowd. Ooh, yes. Teddy says, of course, it's all about flex culture these days. The Bagosaurus says, most definitely. Naisha says, for sure. Maydeya says, yes, I see influencers buy bags that are beyond their styling abilities and creativity just to have a bag and get views. Ah! Yes! Okay. Thank you for going there because that is a big fact and I agree. His styling abilities is such a good point. Crystal says, yes, totally. I bought Amina Muaddi shoes and many others because it just looks so great. I really like Amina Muaddis. Are they worth it? Should I get some? I was thinking about getting like the lower heeled ones for work. Thoughts? Essie says, yes, as you see a lot of stuff you may not have known existed and have to be disciplined. Essie also says, I just saw a two-toned picotin in Amaya's stories and I'm in love. Picotin is normally a no for me. Yes, I know the picotin you're talking about because I saw it on Amaya's stories as well. That one is, yeah, really, really pretty. Victoria says, yes, you get influenced by what people wear and also get much more information to what's available. Meredith says, absolutely. My favorite blogger says, for sure, 100%. Enigmatic Star says, yes, fear of missing out is real. Opportunity to pay in installments supports it more. We need to talk about this in another video, this whole pay in installments thing, because we've been discussing it in the group as well, and we're split. I love it when we're split because I feel like that's when the debates are really good. Shop Lux with Moi says, for sure. Listen, I think social media is a massive culprit. I will put my hands up and say that this year I'm no longer like going to be influenced to buy things that I actually don't need or want, frankly. So you remember how early on in the video I told you how the artisan stuff is cool at Big H. I think that's all cool and stuff, but that's not actually really why I like the brand. I know for a lot of other people they like the brand because of the artisan stuff. I actually like their colors. I love their colors. I love that, and I think that's what I've realized I really like about Big H. I love their colors. And I love, of course, the fact that they make exotics. I think that's why I like Hermes, and for as long as Hermes make exotics and continue to make really beautiful colors, I'm always going to be interested in them. I think that fear of missing out and social media has definitely made people want to buy things that they really don't actually want or need, but you think you need it. I've actually just like realized, I think after shopping in Paris and kind of looking at things that I also want to buy now moving forward, because I'd like to buy some stuff for March, I've realized that like I'm not someone who is actually like massively into handbags. That's not really my thing. And after finishing the pool refurbishment, I think I realized that even more. Like the money that I spent on the pool, I'm like really glad that I went there, even though I did spend a lot on it. I feel like I'm so much happier that I have it now versus if I had taken that budget and spent it on just buying bags. And don't get me wrong, if you're someone who loves bags, please do that. I'd love to see your bags and see pictures of them and join the group so you can show me them. But I feel like I've realized like ever since I started having a YouTube channel, I felt like I needed to have bags, and I felt like I wasn't being true to myself. They're really the only like non-exotic bags that I'm really interested in buying are like the Chanel 19, the Dauphine, and the Speedy 25, and I would say the On The Go in the bicolor Empreinte. Those are the only 4 non-exotic bags that I'm interested in purchasing. And once I'm able to purchase all of them, I'm not including Big H because Big H is not a guarantee. Of course, Big H is there in like the standard leathers. I would happily take a big H bag in any of the standard leathers, but I'm not including it because it's not a guarantee. Those on the floor, it's a guarantee. As long as the product's in the boutique, you can buy it. But beyond like big H and those 4 bags, I only want to like buy exotics moving forward, and I feel like that's good for me because that's like staying true to who I am. I feel like social media, definitely when you have a YouTube channel, sometimes you do think and feel like, oh my god, like, you know, I need to buy all these things so that I can be interesting. I do think a lot of luxury YouTubers go through that. I'm lucky in that I never really experienced that, and the reason why is because I just knew that if I'd be buying bags I don't need, I wouldn't use them. I'd just buy them, they just end up being in here or in any other room not being used. So I definitely feel like social media, luxury influencers, luxury YouTubers definitely all make us want things. So sometimes you have to think, I think about your lifestyle and whether you actually really like want the item and whether you really need it. Like I feel like I'm more of a fine jewelry, ready to wear watch person, luxury cars and luxury experience person. The cam bags are great and everything, but beyond those 4 bags plus any H standard leather bags, I don't really want to buy a lot of bags after I achieve those ones. I want to just like buy like really unique exotic pieces as and when they come, and which means that it's a very small pool I can choose from: Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Fendi, Dior to a lesser extent, Gucci to a lesser extent. So I feel like that's what I would say. I felt like there was one period of time where I was like, whoa, do I feel like I need to buy this bag? Oh, I need to buy that bag. I need to buy this. I need to buy that. I need to buy that. Then I was like, I don't actually like that stuff. I feel like I'm being influenced to do it because I have a luxury YouTube channel. And that's not me being true to who I am. So I definitely think like social media and fear of missing out is a real thing. Before I go, I just wanted to quickly just kind of react to some of the things that you guys have been telling me in the past few weeks. I thought was really interesting. I've been getting really interesting messages about and comments about the Evelyn and the Picotin, and about my theory about them being these like kind of like mini quota bags in all but name. I'm standing by that theory. I think they're going to continue to be very hard to get. Some of you tell me, well, I walked in and I got an Evelyn, and then you're like, oh yeah, but I have an account at the house, or I did buy a ton of bits and pieces the month before, or I did actually spend some money on the day. The Evelyn, the Picotin all require spend, and that is something that they are doing. I think a lot of that is actually by design. They really want to make these all of them very desirable. They've realized that the only way that they can make all of their big H bags very desirable is by creating some sort of game around it. It is what it is. I do not make up the rules, but I was getting a lot of comments from you guys about the Picotin. I think if you're offered a Picotin in the right color, if you like the bag, I personally don't like the bag. I've seen the Picotin Touch, like the exotic Picotins, they look interesting to me. I would struggle to be offered that bag because I feel like I don't actually like the bag, and same with the Evelyn, I don't actually like that bag either. However, I feel like in the right color, those bags look really, really good. It's the same thing with the Veru. The Veru in the right color looks good. The Constance, particularly the mini Constance, in the right color is absolutely beautiful, and looks really, really nice. I would take a Constance in any of their pinks because I love pink, so for me to take like a pink bag, I think, you know, would be amazing. So I'd be happy to do that. So I think just generally speaking, 2022 is going to be a banner year for Big H. It's going to be an interesting year. I think we're going to see lots of interesting changes. I think you're going to see a decrease, we've already seen a decrease in Birkin and Kelly unboxings from the boutique with no spend. It's funny how those have been going down, honey, now, okay, because Big H is not releasing bags like that. You know, there was that period of time, you know, when the C19 was happening, where Big H was releasing bags. You saw lots of influencers saying that they walked into boutiques and got a bag without spend. But if you look at those videos, a lot of those unboxings were like bags that are bigger, and it was because of that C19 window. That C19 window closed a long time ago. You're not really seeing those unboxings anymore. I actually have a theory as well for those of you in wishlist countries. I think that Big H is going to kind of phase this thing out. I can't prove it, but when I was reading their annual report, if you like read it in detail and you read like the things that we're hearing happening about one bag a year, I actually think eventually every single jurisdiction is going to be a jurisdiction that requires spend. So I think for a lot of you in Europe, like if you're doing wish list stuff now, you know, keep enjoying the wish list, but I just don't see them using the wish list moving forward, like for the future, because I think the wish list system is like actually unfair. There's some countries where people are going 3-to-1, like the United Arab Emirates is 3-to-1, like all of the Big H boutiques there. Shanghai, literally people have said like in the boutique in Shanghai, they'll just tell you like you spend $25,000 before we can release a bag to you. That's like 2.5 to 1, you know, for a bag in whatever, any of the standard levels. So I actually think that the wish list situation is a discrepancy that I think that they're going to equalize eventually. Not right now, because I feel like C19 is still like economies are still recovering from that. And if you read the annual report, Europe, you know, was okay, but it wasn't like what's popping in Asia. Like Asia is carrying big H honey on her back. So from those of you who are from Asia, like I'm sure the top dogs in Paris are grateful for your support, because the Asian boutiques are doing fantastic. Like Japan, China, Singapore, they're all doing really, really well. Europe, you know, was slow and not as, it's picked up a little bit, but not as much if you compare it to other jurisdictions. North America's doing well. France, it was actually, they actually put minus, like across 2 years, it's actually minus. So, I think, yeah, across 2 years it was like -3 or something. So it's actually really been tough in their home turf, like even with local clients. So, you know, these are all just theories. They're just my theories. I can't prove them. They're meant to be fun business theories. If you work at Big H, you know someone works at Big H, you can't be annoyed at me. I'm just giving business analysis and business opinions, okay? You're a publicly traded company. I'm allowed to give my opinion. Because that's like something else people do now. Like they send Big H videos to people who work at Big H. Please don't do that, because then you make all of us go underground and then we'll stop filming because you don't want to be cancelled. So I really hope that you like this video. If you have, you know what to do. You subscribe, you like the video, the algorithm. Tell me what you think about everything, the colors, Big H influencer privilege. What do we think about that? Tell me what you think of the results. What do you think of the 24/24 being, you know, name checked? She got name checked like she was in a rap song, okay? She was name checked. Tell me what you think about that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video.